Hi, everybody.
Hello,
My name is Heidi Steffen,
I'm Joey.
and we have four kids. So we have a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old. So just to kind of give you a little background on who we are. So anyway, today we're going to talk about Raymond Moore, and he has a three-pronged formula. And a couple of weeks ago we talked about service, and last week we talked about work. And so this week we're going to talk about his third part of that formula, which is service. So um, he describes service as the golden rule in practice, which I love because that's what service is. It's putting others first. So, you have anything to say about benefits of service?
Service is really important, obviously, but it's really kind of selfish, which is weird to think about. But serving makes us feel better. So if I can remember back at a time when I was in college going through a hard time, and my dad asked me if I'd done something for anybody else, and I hadn't, of course. And you do a few of those acts, and what do you know? You start feeling better.
Yeah,
So
that's very true.
it's weird that to be selfless is actually a little bit selfish as far as our mental health, but in a good way. So
Um, so he basically the reason he includes service is because you want to raise selfless kids, and including service in your homeschool program will help you do that. And the beautiful thing about service, he says to do about 1 hour a day of home or community service. And the best thing about that is what we talked about last week with work. I mean, because you can combine service with work, it's not adding an additional hour of doing something. You can blend both of those and get them both done. So, we're going to just share some practical ideas or ways that you can include service into your homeschool routine. So, do you want to?
sure, you mentioned blending with work. I was writing in my notes that our kids have a totally different attitude towards work when they are trying to do things for each other. When they're just focused on work, our kids, this may not sound familiar to you, but our kids are always comparing, well, you're doing more than I am, and or you're doing less than I am. That's the comparison. And I'm going to stand here and wait for you to get done so we're even and fair and all of this nonsense.
Right.
And when their attitudes are able to shift, and we haven't totally figured out that magic formula, but when they shift from focusing on how much they're doing compared to everybody else and instead how much they can do, they get really excited about work and they enjoy it, and the service component of it makes them really shine and be happy, and it's really fun when they plan that out too, and they're excited to, Mom, don't tell Caleb we're gonna clean his room or make his bed or something for
Right.
him, and then we're gonna surprise him. So can you keep him in this room for a while? And they do things like that, and it totally changes the attitude. It's wonderful. But service doesn't have to be super super planned out. It can be, but it can be very spontaneous, and it doesn't have to be towards people less fortunate. Sometimes we automatically think of feeding the homeless and doing things for other people who are less fortunate than us, and that's not bad. I'm not dissing on that. That's one of the things that we do with our plan service, but service can be done for anybody. I mean, we all enjoy acts of service, whether that's our love language or not. It's just nice, and I think that's a really great way to serve it to. I forgot the words I was looking for, but it's really good. Um, so little things, things that we don't think about can be acts of service. Holding the door for your mom or
That's
the
a
women
good
in your
thing. If you
family.
guys have boys in your household, I really encourage you to take that opportunity, especially I think dads need to take the lead on this because they're going to learn more by watching him open the car door for me or for the girls than they will by me hounding them all the time. Guys, open the door. So again, more's caught than taught, like we were talking about last week. So modeling service is really important. So it means that we have to get off our tushes and do stuff too. Um, do little surprises for people or whatever. Did you have any other I mean,
A
I've
good
got a,
foot
I've got
rub
a,
for mom makes everybody happy.
I like that one. We
But
should
don't
do
be
that.
asked. You do it. Do it.
Let's do that one today.
You're ruining my service.
Sorry. Oh, okay. I won't ask. Yeah, there you go. Won't ask. So, okay. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, it's okay. I had just a few things. I'd just give some examples. You know, doing the dishes for somebody instead of divvying up the chores like we talked about. Putting the groceries away before mom asks. Mom is a great source of doing acts of service because she has so much to do. The kids can really, they can really put mom in a good mood by doing acts of service. So training them how to do that and giving them lots of praise when they do it is a great way to train them how to serve and to make other people happy.
And to keep it going.
Yeah. And of course, unselfishness is not just a goal in service and a goal for our kids, but a goal in life, and a goal for all of us. I tell my students at school, I teach high school, that what you're looking for in a spouse, most of all, is someone who's unselfish. And of course, if you're going to find that, you need to be unselfish yourself. So, super important life skill for all of us. And it's so easy to fall out of it and into selfishness. And I don't know, generally that's when my wife kicks me and says, "You're thinking a lot of yourself," or something to that effect.
Okay, that goes both ways, though.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
She says it better than I do, though. Outside the home, we already mentioned feeding the homeless is great. If you've got a way to do that safely, that's wonderful. If you can volunteer at a local soup kitchen, that's awesome. My parents are retired now, and they volunteer at a food pantry, and there's all kinds of opportunities there. They're always getting people in. So there are things to do in your community, and it's a great way to connect with your community. One of the things that you could do if you don't have a connection via a church or something like that is you can go to the Chamber of Commerce in your local town and ask if there's any service opportunities. You can go to the Rotary Club or the Moose Club, or a lot of these other organizations will know of what places that you can serve. So you can do more planned activities if you want to as well. Of course, you can clean up a trail or a roadside with your kids. I'd recommend a trail just because it's a little bit safer if you have those opportunities.
And you can bring gloves, and you know they have those little fun picker-upper things. So you want to be careful. You know, practice safety if you're doing it too. So with the trash.
And that's a good opportunity for a science lesson on pollution. And there's some great videos on plastic in the ocean that you can look up and do that as a part of it. I was going to mention something else that was outside the home, and I've totally forgotten. So you go for a little second, I'll remember.
So we've got, he mentioned nursing home. There's a lot of things you can do there.
I didn't mention
You
nursing
didn't
homes.
mention?
Yeah.
You can go pick some wildflowers and bring that. You can bake them some baked goods. You can practice a little song to sing in a nursing home. They eat that up. And it's really easy to do. And most of us have nursing homes pretty close to where we live. A hospital, you know, with kids, they can knit little hats for kids or color them pictures. And I mean, there's so many poor souls who are in the hospital who this would cheer them up. So that's something you can do. And then homeless bags is another thing that you can drop off. So what else? I've got a whole list of stuff. I'm just going to read them off my list here so I don't forget. But we have yard sales, so the kids scour their rooms for things that they want to sell, and then are not using anymore. So this is an extra bonus because it cleans up our house. But they go out there and we sell the stuff for yard sales, and we donate the money to some cause that we're doing at the time. Another thing we do is we make handmade things and have a Christmas boutique at our home every year, where we have like 4 or 5 different vendors, sometimes even more, and people come, and then we donate the money that we've made to a family for Christmas. And the kids actually are starting now for the boutique, so they're looking at things that they can start making already. So that's kind of fun. We grow a garden, and you can make a giving garden where you have one box, definitely donate it, you know, that you're going to donate all of that, or you can do a percentage of your everything that you pick. So you can sponsor a child through World Vision or through Compassion International. And we just got something in the mail that it's time to pick our Christmas gift for our kid. So that's going to be kind of fun because now the kids are excited to get online and see if we want to get a goat or a pig or whatever, chicken or something for the kid for Christmas. We can, at the grocery store, we can see a little old lady going out. We can help her load her groceries into her car. We can donate toys that we don't use. We can, Joey talked about, taking initiative for others and doing stuff. I read a book, a Arthur Maxwell book one time for his bedtime stories, and he had a story about some kids who came up with something called the Surprise Package Company. And they always looked for ways to do things for people. And instead of telling them who did it, they left a little note that said, from the Surprise Package Company. So doing fun stuff like that. Raymond Moore talks about in his book, The Successful Guide to Homeschooling, and his kids named it the Surprise or Service Over Self Company. So that's something you could do, make it fun.
There's another really old book. We didn't talk about this. There's an old book that is along the same theme. It's called, I think, The Secret of the Cave or something along that line. Maybe we can put it in the comments later. I'll have to find it. I've forgotten who wrote it and everything, but I remember reading it as a kid.
It's a kid's book, though?
Yeah, it's
a
kid's book. It's a real fast read, but it's fun. They're sneaking around doing nice things for everybody.
Yeah, it just makes it fun for the kids.
Another thing we talked about earlier is I teach at a private school, and I've seen a number of kids get sponsored and come through our school, and it makes a huge difference on their attitude and their life direction. There's a few specific cases I could tell you details, but anyway, it can be a huge ministry. And if you have those types of funds or even small types of funds, private schools are always looking for sponsors for students who can't afford the tuition. So that's a really great way to reach out as well. But a lot of these things we've mentioned are, monetary in nature. Not all of them, but I'd just like to stress how our time is our most valuable thing. And so the giving of the time is not just as important, it's probably more important than the money that we give. You were saying something about living in a society, one of our gods in the U.S. is convenience. And so taking that time away from our convenient schedules is a great way to really show that we're committed to service or a way to serve others just with our time.
Oh, and someone just left a comment. Thank you, Robertson Life. Christmas Jars by Jason Wright is a great book for teaching how to give back in a small way. So thanks for sharing that.
Awesome.
That's great. Okay, so you can write letters to Grandma and Grandpa. That is an act of service, I think, and it's practicing handwriting at the same time. So again, blending those things.
Write to your people your age, they'll flip out.
Well, a pen pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got a family who lives back east or know of a family who lives back east, send them a care package and include a little note in there from your kids to their kids. I think a family would really appreciate that. So
one of the fun things to do with that is not just a care package, but why did you guys make those? They made little sheets with seeds in them. So you plant the note, and then it grows flowers out of it. And did you do a blog post on that?
No, it's in our gardening curriculum.
Oh, it's in the gardening curriculum. So you basically take paper and blend it up with water, and then you lay it flat with the seeds in it and let it dry, and then you can draw on it and then
write a card, and then they can plant it and seeds will grow.
Really
so
cool.
It's kind of fun. So just a few others really quick. I know we're running short on time. Do some yard work for neighbors or someone in need, a little old lady at church who needs some help. Leave money at the dollar store. My kids love that. I found that idea on Pinterest. You just stick dollars under something, and then people, as they go by, they see dollars, and you can make someone's day with $1. So serve Thanksgiving or a Christmas meal to someone or invite someone. That's service too, inviting someone into your home to share a meal or spend a holiday with. let's see, going on mission trips, little mission trips. I think, oh, and at Christmas, there's, if you look on Instagram, it's called the Giving Manger. It's really cute. They have a little cradle, and at the beginning of December, you make a list of your acts of service that you want to do, kind of like a countdown to Advent. And every day you do something, you add a little piece of hay to the manger. So it's called the Giving Manger. You can go check that out. Let's see.
Well, she's saying that Brennan Manning, who wrote the Ragamuffin Gospel and Abba Father, and I can't remember which book it's in, but he does a chapter on breaking bread together, and there's some biblical truths to breaking bread together and some of the beliefs behind it, and how you're inviting a person into your home, basically making them part of your family. So the whole inviting somebody to your house and breaking bread together is really a really powerful thing that you can do. Yeah, I'll have to dig up that chapter and find it sometime.
Yeah, that's good. And then, you know, a lot of us say, well, I don't have time to do this. All I have to say is Jesus did so much with 2 mites and 5, was it 2 fish and 5 loaves?
5 loaves and 2 fish, yes.
He did so much. I mean, think of all the things that he made. So give him what time you have, and I promise you that he will multiply it. And I know there's more in my notes, but I think we're running out of time. We appreciate you guys checking in and spending your time with us. So you guys have a great Sunday, and thanks again.
Have fun serving.
Bye.